Are you ready?
Starting now?
Well, now you just messed it up, you knob. God, you know that the shit that we go through for this, huh?
I know. Fuckers better appreciate it. When we started, we were just like, yeah, we're just going to do this, man. You know, shoot our wad into the wind and see what happens. What's the title of this podcast again?
I don't know. I don't know. Something with a penis, I guess.
Right.
Our fucking faces are everywhere now.
Right.
You know, but
You're welcome, ladies.
Right. Popular with the ladies. Right. Oh, I'm not even going to apologize because hopefully it sounds fucking hilarious.
Yeah, totally. This is fucking explicit now.
The explicit button. Let me use my finger.
La, 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 la.
It is time for another episode of Sober, Not Mature. And that episode starts now. All right, everyone. Welcome once again to another episode of Sober, Not Mature. And yes, this is episode 100.
Woohoo!
I know. I mean, I know we had, kind of talked about it. I don't want to say even teased it because we didn't really, but I mean, I've been promoting it this week, but you and I kind of had this on our minds, over the last couple of weeks. But fucking 100 episodes, man.
Goddamn.
I know. If I would have not even had the time, if I would have felt like taking the time, I was going to look up that motherfucker, the 90% dude, the 90% dude. I was going to look up statistics and then go, listen, motherfucker. Not only this, not only that, blah blah blah. But you know what? I'm just going to let all these words, this great shit that comes out, it's great content that comes out of our mouths, literally speak for itself. How's that?
Exactly.
Did that convince anyone? Did I like hype everyone up?
Not me, but that's fine.
I was trying so fucking hard not to laugh because I'm just like, it doesn't fucking matter. All we did was sit on here for 100 weeks in a row and have, shoot the shit with each other. But I mean, it is an accomplishment. There's a couple of things I want to talk about with that, but I think always most importantly, because I know you had a day, which we're going to talk about, I'm sure, but so why don't we get this reading out of the way? Some of these good thoughts rolling around in our heads late in the day, and brighten our moods for this 100th episode. How's that, Mike? Back to you.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah, right. All right. Well, thankfully, one jumped out at me this week, and so I didn't have to. Anyway, right. So there it is. It's sitting right here for me, waiting for me to read to you. And actually, you shared this one. This was yesterday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and you put it up. I saw that, but not everybody that listens to this reads our crap, and everybody that reads our crap listens to this. So
yeah, and if they hear it twice, if they're anything like me, even in the slightest, they're not going to fucking remember it anyhow.
Right, they're not going to remember, and they probably need to hear it again.
It's a great goddamn reading, Mike. I've never heard that before.
Anyway, so yesterday, January 18th. If you're listening to this, it's probably the 20th or beyond, but too damn bad. It's a time machine. All right. God, I'm a little loopy. Here we go. True life is lived when tiny choices are made. Leo Tolstoy. I believe he wrote some stuff. Dependency is about losing the ability to say no. Recovery gives us back the gift of choice. Recovery by itself doesn't make us good people, but we will become good people by the choices we make. We create our new authentic life by choosing to place principles before personality. Heard that somewhere before. This means that we make choices based on good values. During our active addiction, if it felt good, we did it. In recovery, we choose based on doing the next right thing. Editor's note, even if it doesn't feel good. Recovery back to the reading. Recovery is choosing that we go to a meeting even when we don't feel like it. Recovery is choosing to keep our mouths shut when we're invited to gossip. Recovery is thousands of little choices, all of which must be guided by our values. We must choose wisely. We must choose as if our life depends upon it, for it does. Prayer for the day. Higher power, guide my choices. Help me to place principles before personalities, even when I don't want to. Today's action. Oh, those lovely actions. As I walk through the day today, or drive, I will be mindful of the choices I make. I will slow the day down enough so that I can watch to see if my choices match my values.
So, did you slow your day down at all? Actually, your day slowed you down.
Yeah, barely too slow.
Yeah, and I do remember that obviously, but surprisingly, again, it's you could have told me that was from
Yesterday, right?
yesterday or 6 months ago, and I would I pick up on words, same thing, but
Right.
so the couple of things that I wrote down right off the bat, that opening talked about tiny choices, which I think is important. And then, the fact that we get back to gifted choice, creating a new authentic life, the next right thing. We say that all the time, doing the next right thing.
Right.
And then even if we don't like it, which is I think one of the biggest things. And the last thing I wrote down was gossip, and that's one we can get back to in a minute. But um, the gift of choice, and even in the most basic sense, one of the things to go back to when I first moved back to Wisconsin, and I was in Madison, and I was working in Milwaukee and got to go up to see Derek's practice. Went up, had dinner, came back, and we're talking, a 20-minute drive up, 20-minute drive back, and I saw all those liquor stores that I used to, stop at, a
Right.
number of them, and that's when you gave me, and I'm just going to call it the famous line of, one of our famous podcast lines is enjoy the freedom,
Right.
because there was a time, literally towards the end and, for a long time in there that I didn't have a choice. I had to
Right.
stop at that liquor store,
Yeah.
I couldn't just drive by and still it's funny. And I know you and I have talked about this. I'm sure it's come up on here before, but
Mhm.
to this day, so 13 years and 9 months, is it nine?
Something like
I think.
that. Yeah, we're getting close. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So 13 years and 9 months later, I can drive into an area and I will notice where every liquor store and every bar is. I
Oh,
notice every
sure.
one of them all the time,
Yep.
and I notice when there's things on sale and the big sale ads and whatever it is. And walking, that Myers a little bit. I go by. Actually, I do. I do walk by the booze aisle where the wine and the booze bottles are in Meyer, just because I round this one corner where I get like I don't even remember what I get. Oh, that's where like bread is, and I've got to get my ranch dressing, and I have to round out that aisle. So I go by it, so I notice that all the time. But
Sure.
I don't know, it's just there. But again, going into different towns like that, I just notice it. But we now have the gift of choice. First of all, I don't want to stop at the liquor store.
Right.
I choose not to do it, but I don't have to, so that's the first thing, is having
Exactly.
that gift of choice, right?
Yep. Absolutely.
That's
Yeah.
it. I got
That's
I got my coffee in my hand. Come on, let's take a drink of coffee.
Yes, we are free today. We are no longer a slave to the substance. It is a wonderful thing.
Perfect, thank you. It's just once again, it was just one of those things where I usually, I don't know what I expect. Either sometimes you'll say more than I expect, sometimes you say nothing. That's why I literally was sitting here I'm looking at your volume control on the computer screen, coffee in my left hand, about to take a drink, and I'm like, so that's it? Nothing more.
That's it.
Okay. Well, coffee's
Keep it
gonna go.
simple, man.
Yeah, right. But yeah, the next thing was create a new authentic life, which
Mm,
I know we talked about that before. I know I lived a life that was, I mean, not even authentic wasn't even in my vocabulary.
right.
Everything I was doing was fake, right? I mean, I know you did too,
Oh,
right?
absolutely. Yeah. It's funny, actually, in my home group, the guy that led this week, he talked about living by inauthentic values. yeah, living lies, and believing them, and living by a set of values that were inauthentic. Yeah, those were the words he used, and I like that a lot. That was good. Yeah,
Right.
that's what we did. We lived this life that was unauthentic, and now you hear all the time in the rooms and whatever. People talk about, oh, getting your life back. Fuck, I don't want that old life back.
Right.
Yeah, I want this new authentic life.
Right.
It's yeah, absolutely. That's one of my favorite lines out of that one.
Hmm. Yeah, somebody said that to us. I think I know it was really early on, but it might even been in group or in a lead or something like that, and said that
Right?
that exact thing. I don't want my old life back.
Mm-mm.
I had the ability and had the ability to build a brand new one because that life that I had before wasn't worth building back.
No.
And I agree with that because I mean, God, could you imagine? It's like taking this. I don't know. Okay, so an example, the house next to you. We were
Mm-hmm.
talking about when I was there that
Oh
somebody
yeah.
bought it and all that stuff, and you said it had damaged and flooding and all this different stuff. And
Mm-hmm.
I mean, my first thought was, somebody should just go in there fucking bulldoze and start over. And then you're like, oh, they can flip it, but I'm like, God. And my thought was, and it just reminded me of this, probably the same thing. The amount of work, effort, and money that it would take to rebuild that house. I know it can
Mm-hmm.
be done as long as the foundation isn't completely fucked,
Right.
which we weren't completely fucked. We were still walking this earth,
Mm-hmm.
so there was something that could have been built, but yeah, to try to rebuild what we had, bleh.
No.
No, thank you.
No. No.
No fucking thank you. So that was this has nothing to do with the reading, but it made me think of it with the whole authentic life thing. Have you ever heard of the term imposter syndrome or feeling like an imposter through this whole
Sure.
thing? Okay.
Yeah.
And I don't remember if I ever brought it up, but I hear it on podcasts all the time. And people talking about it's almost people kind of tie that in with the trauma of this, and then I had imposter syndrome and that led to whatever. It's I've
Mm-hmm.
heard it a lot of times tied into the trauma that people dealt with because they don't feel they're worthy and whatever.
Right.
But I mean, really, when shit goes well for us, every once in a while, I mean, admittedly, I sit back and I'm like, God damn,
Mm.
it's the why me type of thing that we've talked about.
Sure.
Why do I get all these good things? Why am I still
Mm-hmm.
walking this earth?
Mm-hmm.
I don't have everything that I want. Far from it. My life
Right.
hasn't even been close to fucking perfect.
No.
I was on a job search for months, which I want to talk about briefly too, because I have a point with that.
Mm-hmm.
But so all these little things, but I don't know. I mean, I'm trying to think is that I feel like because the whole imposter syndrome, I believe, is a mindset that we're not who we are trying to be, or we don't feel like we should
Mm-hmm.
be here. Right? Is that the
Mm-hmm.
concept? You think?
Yeah. I mean, that's absolutely. When we were at the retreat, I think it was like the last step we did. I talked about it when came back. The guy said, I feel like a fraud. And
Oh yeah.
I just looked at him. I said, we all do. It's okay, man. Right. I mean, because we know what we were, that old life. And, we've talked about it with the I know self be true and all that. I mean, right. Yes, this is not, I'm a liar, cheat, and a thief, man. That's what I am. And this person that I've become is kind of not my true self, but my true self was a piece of shit.
Right.
And I don't want to be that person anymore. So I'm changing and I'm becoming a better person. But yeah, it's kind of fake. It's
Right.
okay. Right.
Right.
But it's better. I'm becoming a better person. No, it's not the true me. So fucking what? The true me sucks. It's fine. I want to be better.
Right. Yeah, it's just I've heard and it just reminded me when you said what that gentleman had said about living non-authentic or
Mm-hmm.
however you put that just made me think
Right.
about again we
Living by
were
false values, I believe
yeah,
is the actual words he used. Yeah.
but I mean I know I was more of an imposter before I got sober than I am now. I may
Mm-hmm.
feel like one because I don't
Right.
maybe sometimes don't feel like the same thing like either I'm not worthy is not a right way to put it, but
Mm-mm.
maybe on the outskirts of it a light. I'm not worthy light. I mean,
Right.
I
Sure.
don't feel that way fully, but or I don't know when somebody comes to us for advice, whether it's about this thing or other things, or, people trust you and they say, here, watch my dog, go into my house. I mean,
Right.
all whatever
Right.
things like that. And you're like,
Right.
really? Here, carry around $3,000 from, your mom's estate sale, cash, and
Right.
just I trust you to come back here with it.
Right.
Really? Really? Okay.
Right. Right. Oh, and I mean, the thought crosses my mind,
Right.
when something like that happens. I wonder how I could get away with this. I mean, it
Right.
does. It still does. Absolutely. But, that I don't do anything with that thought. It's a
Right.
thought and it passes and blah, blah, blah. But yeah, absolutely, man. Those thoughts are still there. So yes, that's kind of where this fake thing, does everyone think like this? I don't think so. We all do,
Right.
but yeah, I mean, people don't. It just doesn't fucking cross their minds, and it certainly crosses ours.
Right. Yeah, and we've said this plenty of times, and this is well worth repeating. There is nothing wrong with having those thoughts, but
Mm-mm.
as long as you, first of all, have it, process it, get it out.
Right.
And I was in a grocery store. It just reminded me of, thinking of having bad thoughts. I was in a grocery store, and, this lady had her, women put their purses in like where a child would go type
Sure.
of thing.
Yeah,
And
the
I'm
little
walking,
seat.
yeah, and I'm walking along, and, I'm walking right by, and her purse is sitting in there, and she's grabbing something off the shelf. And
Uh-huh.
my thought is, I could grab that purse. I mean, and I'm thinking, you stupid lady, why,
Right. Oh,
why,
yeah.
why are you doing that? Because I
Don't
could
you
grab
know I'm
that.
walking past you?
Right. I mean, I'm not going to, but then
Mm-hmm.
again, literally in my head, I'm like, okay, I'm in Meyer. So I'm in the,
Mm-hmm.
towards the back of the store. And I'm like, how would I even get out of here? She would alert somebody. Somebody would say something. There's only
Mhm.
two different doors to get out. All this shit passes through my head. And I'm
Right.
like, I didn't even say to myself, you fucking idiot. What are
Hmm.
you, a psycho? I just went on and finished my shopping.
Right.
I mean, I literally thought all those little things and then just let it out. Like it just kept,
Right.
went on with my life.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Which is what it kind of plays into that fraud thing. Yeah, oh yes. Right. But we don't act on that. There was certainly a time in my life where I would have grabbed that purse and ran like a motherfucker and maybe got away with it and maybe not.
Right.
But again, the choices comes back to that. We choose not to do that shit today. We can't choose not to have the thoughts. We can choose to, like you said, process them, recognize them, and go, it's probably not a good idea, and move on.
Right.
That's wrong. That's again, those values. that would not be the next right thing. So I guess I won't do that
Right.
today.
And I mean, seriously, that I hadn't thought about that until it happened, or until we were talking about it, or since it
Mm-hmm.
happened. That wasn't recently. That was a few weeks ago, maybe a month ago.
Sure.
I don't know. It was a
Yeah.
while ago.
Right. Yeah.
And it was almost like it's as if for a normal human being, it's like walking through an aisle and smelling a fart and being like,
Mm.
"Damn, that stinks." And then you don't dwell on it and figure that was horrible and this and that and process
Right.
it. It stinks and you walk away. And that's kind of
Right.
what I did. And I gave it no
Mm-hmm.
thought whatsoever. I wasn't even in my head thinking that's a bad thing. It was just in, out, done.
Right.
Which is,
Right.
and I know it's bad inside. The reason my head threw it out is because my head knows it's wrong. Like, get the fuck
Mm-hmm.
out of here, man. That's
Right.
terrible. Leave that lady alone. She's just grocery shopping, man. But then, of course, you said next right thing, which we
Mm-hmm.
talk about that all the time. I use that as I don't know if it's in our like embedded hashtags, but I use that quite a bit. Because things like this or concepts about the doing the next right thing come
Right.
up quite a bit in the readings and things like that. So.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes that's all that we can do. Maybe some days all we
Right.
can do is stay sober, and that's
Mm-hmm.
a good day, quote unquote.
Sure.
And then, if nothing else, just what's the next right thing that we can do? Life's
Mm-hmm.
hitting us in the face, or shit's going
Mm.
wrong, or we're pissed off, and then, but what do we do
Mm-hmm.
next? Or how do you? The next right thing is to walk away and not steal the lady's purse.
Right.
So
Right.
very
Yeah,
common.
but then we get to profit from it because we get to get our groceries and go home and enjoy them.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, and
Not sitting in county going, fuck, I probably shouldn't have grabbed that purse.
right. Yeah. Either there's one of two things is going to happen there. Either I'm going to get arrested, or the
Mm,
one of the 14,000 cameras they have in Meyer is going to catch me. I'm in there all the
sure.
fucking time.
Right.
Somebody would know me, whether it was the deli department or the lady at the self checkout. She knows me. She's like, oh hey, how you doing? Have a nice weekend.
Right.
Have a great
Right.
day. Well, that's the other thing. I forget what day it was. I did shopping on a I think I did shopping on a Friday when I came out for it was when I came out there for New Year's Eve. So
Hmm.
I went to in this thought crossed my mind at that time, because we had talked about at one point of liquor store hopping, a grocery store hopping, and again
Hmm.
every 7 days or every 3 days, we're in the
Right.
same store anyhow. But
Hmm.
so once a week I'm in these stores. I go to the vape store, I go to Aldi, Walmart, and usually Walmart if I need some incidental items, and then Meyer.
Right. Hmm.
Walmart, nobody knows me. I mean, you know how any Walmart
Yeah.
is.
Right.
You're
Right.
just in and out, and I
Hmm.
see people that I see on a regular basis, but there's too many fucking people in there.
I
But
put my head down, try to get through it, and get the fuck
right,
out of there.
you know,
Right.
in the Walmart here is decent. It's cool. It's clean.
Right.
But the same deal. You're just one of many. That's
Hmm.
in there. But the people at the vape store, when I walk in, they know exactly what I want all the
Hmm.
time now.
Right.
When I go to Aldi, again, nobody really. Aldi's the same type of thing.
Yeah.
I go to self checkout to do whatever. But when I go to Meyer, usually if I go on a Saturday, the
Hmm.
two people behind the deli, maybe three, one for sure,
Hmm.
all the time because he's there. He knows, just ask me how much chicken I want that day.
Right.
And then when I go to Domino's, when I walk into Domino's now,
Hmm.
as soon as I round, the guy, one or two of the guys see me and they just go up and grab my pizza and hand it to
Right.
me.
Yeah. Yeah. Me
And
too.
like
Right.
you, I mean, you've been going
Yep.
to that one for what, 4 years now,
4 years. Right. Yeah. Since I moved into the house. Yeah.
and I'm walking out of these things, and I'm just like, how fucking delusional were we? You know, I mean, I'm
Right.
I'm in there doing again the next right thing. I'm eating. I'm just getting shit that I need or whatever,
Hmm.
and all these fucking people know me. All I do is
Right.
walk in the door and they fucking know me.
Hmm.
And yeah, nobody knew because I went to 7 different grocery stores and liquor stores. So
Right.
air quote, nobody would know me.
Right.
Yeah, it just
Yeah.
foolish,
Well, honestly, at the end, I didn't. I just went to the same ones because I didn't give a fuck. Just give me my
right?
shit and get out of my way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's it, yeah. There's a point when it gets to be a lot of work, and yeah. But the last thing was, even if we don't feel like it, which is something
Mm,
we were told again early on, you
right.
know, go to meetings, going doing anything that you had to do, and I say had
Hmm.
to do at that time for a recovery standpoint, um,
Right.
even if we didn't feel like it, because going to a meeting, and even to this day, I don't begrudge if I go to a meeting, and because when I do, maybe because I don't go to a lot of meetings anymore, but
Hmm.
when I do, it's a thing for me. I like it in
Right.
general, but
Hmm.
I never go with that mindset. But there's things that I don't want to do, from a
Hmm.
recovery standpoint. But
Sure.
we're always told you're going to feel better afterwards, and
Hmm.
nobody ever lied to us. So,
Right.
but yeah, that's the
Right.
biggest thing.
Yeah. And it's yeah, and it's yeah, we have to do these things. That again, we were taught early on. We get to do these things. If you change that mindset around,
Right.
it makes it a little easier. I actually, yeah, my day. But the last time I talked to Chris today, I was at the Domino's parking lot waiting for my pizza, and called her, said, "Hey, I made it off the freeway. I'm at Domino's. I gotta head home." And I said, "I get to do a podcast tonight," because I fucking did not want to.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. And it's but it's that thing, and this, and we've made no secrets about this. I mean, we have a lot of fun doing this, and
Mm-hmm.
it's a lot of fucking work though. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
social media is becoming just a lot of work, and it with this new job coming up, which I'll talk about in a minute. I mean, I'm going to have to back off a little bit on the social media side
Right.
of things, and which is not a big deal, but I'll do a post about it to let people know so people don't think what the
Mm-hmm.
fuck, because I'm on there a lot and I get engaged a lot,
Right.
but I need to figure out what my life's going to look like with this job before I can,
Sure.
I don't know how much time I'm going to have to begin with. So
Mm-hmm.
social media is a lot of fucking work, and anyone
Right.
who's doing it other than just personal, because Facebook was never work for me. It was just, it got to be, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Facebook was just fucking Facebook,
Right.
on a personal level. But if anyone does any sort of social media, once again, for a podcast to promote something, to try to sell something, anything like that, where you're, or as a creator or influencer, whatever the fuck people call
Mm-hmm.
themselves, whatever we might be designated as, which I don't even fucking know. We make shit. So are we a creator? We try to get people to listen. So are we trying to influence people? I don't fucking know. We are
I glance over at the screen and it tells me I'm a fuck knuckle.
right. We're we're influencers.
Mm, right.
We're inflators. Yep.
Pump it up.
Yep, that's who we are. We are inflators. That's from now on. We're not influencers or creators. We are inflators. There we go.
Okay.
You're like, what the fuck ever? Don't care. But yeah, this can be work. But
Mm-hmm.
even, and it's so funny because this is almost like, when I sit down to do this, it's almost like when I sat down at my Friday meetings for years. It was
Mm-hmm.
the first time, even if I go to a meeting throughout the week or whatever, but there was a point where I was just doing a Friday and a Saturday meeting.
Mm-hmm.
When I sat down at that Friday night meeting, long week, running around, doing this, doing that, and all of a sudden you sit down in about, 15, 20 minutes before the meeting starts,
Right.
and it just, you're tired. And I'm like, I get the same way here now, because I'll get everything set up. I usually give myself a half hour to 45 minutes before we record, to make sure everything, technology's working and all that sort of thing. And
Right.
then kind of like at that point, I'm just like, okay, grab a coffee, do whatever, and then I still have 15, 20 minutes. And seriously, the same thing. I'm like, man, I'm fucking tired. But
Mm-hmm.
when we get on here, it's just everything changes, which is, that's, even if we don't feel like it, that's what it's supposed to be.
Right.
So
Yeah, well, clearly it took me a few minutes to ramp up, but here I am.
right. Well, but you know what? And here's the thing. And we started doing, you started doing the reading. And I say we just because, I mean, we're doing it on here, but I mean, obviously you
Mm-hmm.
started doing the reading, for a reason, because you openly said it's something you missed, you enjoyed doing it. And I
Right.
thought, well, that's kind of
Yeah.
cool. And I thought I mean, I agree, that'd be cool, a cool something. I keep looking at this is complete, fucking ADHD and squirrel thing, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm just
Squirrel.
glanced at my screen and it just, episode 100 is looking at me. It says Riverside, episode 100. And
Yes,
I'm
it does.
like, that's fucking cool. Can you see that
It
top of your
is.
screen, top left?
I do. Yep.
I feel pretty fucking good about that. So anyhow,
Yeah.
but oh, lost it.
Reading, you were talking
Oh
about
yeah.
doing the reading.
But the other thing too is that I think that it puts both of us in the right mood. We've got this short little
Mm-hmm.
opening. I usually have something in my head to fuck around with, if nothing
Right.
else. But then it gives us an opportunity to, same thing as we do in the morning. We get our heads straight.
Right. Yeah. Start the day, start the podcast. Right.
Yeah.
If it works for the day, it works for the podcast.
Right. And 9 times out of 10, we occupy, like in this case, it's, almost 20, is it 26, 27 minutes.
Yep.
That we're talking probably 25 of that, 24 of that has been talking about the reading and the reading itself.
Mm-hmm.
So it's great. It's a great way to, I don't know, occupy our mind or put our mind in the right place. I don't know of
Right.
any other way to say that.
Right. Point us in the right direction.
Right.
Again, same thing as every day. Right. Get
Right.
up in the morning, read these goddamn books and point me in the right direction, because otherwise I'll walk right over the cliff.
Yep. Because the toes are on the edge of that cliff. And I do have something about the readings written down, but I'll get to that in a minute too, or one of the readings.
All right.
But so the last thing on there was gossip. And I remember not only reading that this time, but obviously reading it several times before that for the last however many years. And gossip is a tough one because, I think that, I don't even think, everyone talks about people.
Sure.
But when does it become gossip? I mean, if somebody asks a question about somebody and you're passing along true information, is it
Right.
gossip? It's, or are you just filling somebody in about something? If you're talking about somebody out of character, or say, don't tell anybody else, or don't tell him I said this, or don't tell her I said that,
Right.
then
Right.
that's the on ramp to gossip right there, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I think you just nailed it exactly. If it's a secret and you don't want it to get around, which is sort of the anti-gossip.
Right.
But right. Yeah. If you're open and honest and you tell the person to their face, then what's the problem?
Right.
Right. If you want to keep it secret from everybody, and especially the person you're talking about, it's probably not a good idea. You might
Right.
want to look at that.
And it happens. I mean, it happens everywhere,
Oh,
but
sure.
I mean, I know it happens in AA meetings, and the worst of it is,
Mm-hmm.
and I think we've had at least one, if not two people on here, and I've run across a few people probably in the last couple of years, well, at least the last year or so, year and a half since we've been on Instagram,
Mm-hmm.
read stories or whatever, where, their sponsor either broke their anonymity or leaked information about their fifth or whatever it is. And
Hmm.
I'm like, that's fucked up.
Oh, yeah.
There was some guest that we had that brought that up too, and I can't remember. Doesn't matter who it is, but
Right.
I remember that being brought up, and it's just like, fuck,
Mm.
man, and that goes back to, that fifth step. I didn't think about it at the time, and I don't believe you did either. We were just told to go to a priest,
Yeah. Yeah.
but
Go call this number. This guy's gonna this guy's gonna do your fifth step with you.
right,
All right.
right. And but after all said and done, and I don't remember even hearing stories, but probably hearing people talk about the sponsor type of thing, and then what
Mhm.
if, and now this person has a head full of your story. Not that, I don't know, is it less likely for a priest to gossip about it? I think so, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I mean, I don't worry about it because nobody I give a shit about goes and talks to priests anyway. So.
Right. Well, and on top of that too, that guy, literally, the guy that we went to was a
Right.
fucking professional fifth step
Yeah.
listener.
Right. Right.
I mean, yeah, this dude probably listened to half the fifth steps on the west side of Cleveland.
Exactly.
I don't know if he just listened to it was just guys. I mean, obviously, as you and I don't know if he was if
Yeah. If women went to him, I don't know.
yeah, I just
Yeah.
kind of crossed my mind because I think about the
Right.
like the sponsor side of things.
Sure.
But yeah,
Hmm.
I suppose as long.
Yeah.
No, I was just gonna say something bad. I'm not going to.
Good.
Yeah. Wait. Next right thing. Next right thing.
Right. Exactly. I had the thought, but I will
Oh,
not act on
whew.
it.
That was fucking close. It was teed right up there too, and I'm like, no. You know what? Everyone, please write that down because this is going to be probably the only time that I held my tongue that you're going to hear it. That you're not going to hear it. Let me put it that way, because it's not that
Right.
I say all the bad thoughts, but on here it's why I don't know why it's so easy sometimes. Some of this shit just comes out of my mouth, and I'm
Mhm.
like,
Right.
whatever. Fuck. I just said that, didn't I? Yep.
Yep.
But yeah, so the gossip thing, and I know I'd be a flat out fucking liar if I said that I never gossiped about people.
Of
I
course.
don't make a habit of it. I don't make a conscious,
Mhm.
thought about it or a conscious
Right.
effort to do it. But yeah, I mean, it can be. It's just like anything else, man. It's fucking damaging, and
Uh-huh.
because 9 times out of 10, probably 8 out of 10 times, it's not true, or it's a watered down version of the truth, at an
Sure.
absolute minimum, so
Right.
just,
Yeah.
it's a bad deal.
Misinformation.
Yeah,
Don't do it, man.
right,
Stick with the truth.
right. Yeah, well, what is that? We used to play that game in school. Where was it just called?
The telephone
Yeah,
game?
yeah, yeah. You
Yeah.
tell somebody whatever it is, like the sky is blue with green ice cream, and then by the time it gets to the other thing, it's the the blue lake with no ice cream around it or something, or it's a
Right.
it's a Snicker bar in there somewhere.
Yep.
Because nobody can fucking remember what they're saying anyhow.
Mm-mm.
So yeah, I mean that's I like the reading. Anything else with the reading itself, or
No.
you good?
I think that covered it.
Okay. So the one thing, and the only thing I wanted to, before we take a break here, I just wanted to touch on the job thing, because I thought about it, and it was just I don't know, based on some of the thoughts that I went through during this job search. So we
Mm-hmm.
talked about it here and there, but the short story again, I quit the job at the company I was with in Milwaukee back at the end of June. That had to happen. I didn't realize how much it was kind of fucking me up, physically, all that
Right.
stuff, and mentally. But
Mm-hmm.
I don't regret that choice at all. It's a good choice, and I made the opportunity or took the opportunity, to try to start the coaching business, which I got everything done in the background. It didn't flourish, and that's okay, because I not only talked to Mike about it, I talked to our sister about that. I laid a plan out to everyone. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
this is what my plan is, and I'm like, it's 3 months, but after two, if it's not going the way I plan on it, I'm going to start
Mm-hmm.
looking for a full-time job, and within that next 30 days I should have another job, and here I am, right?
Right.
So that would have been, September, right? And
Mm-hmm.
it's January. and
Right.
and I'm starting a new job on February 5th. So 1, 2, 3, 4. It's a lot of time. It's a long time. And the thing of it is that well, two things. I've been through I was just thinking about it before. I think this is my fourth major job search that I've had since I've been sober. Um,
Mm-hmm.
one of them, well, two jobs, basically my one company went out of business, two other jobs, basically one position was eliminated, the other one kind of a downsizing type of thing. And this one I left on my own. I mean, this was my
Right.
choice, but this was the hardest one. Other ones took time, and I mean, you've been around,
Mm-hmm.
during
Sure.
the process, but this one took less time, from start to finish, than some of the other ones. But man,
Mm-hmm.
this was the hardest one. And I think I told you the other day, Mike, that um, I literally every day, I'm application after application, all these online things through Indeed, and Indeed was the main one I was using. So after
Sure.
all said and done, and I got this job offer with this company. Just out of curiosity, I searched my Gmail, and I had 350 hits on Indeed, which means
Right.
I don't I don't email with Indeed for any other reason than, hey, we got your job application, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that was 300 that were still live and open, or I hadn't heard from. Might have been maybe another, when I get a rejection, I delete and search and then delete the original one so I didn't have garbage email in there. Then there was
Right.
ZipRecruiter, there was LinkedIn, there was two other websites. So I don't know. I mean, did I have 600 applications, 700, 1,000? I
Right.
don't know, but I had, out of all those, let's just say, let's make it conservative at 700, okay? I
Mm-hmm.
had four, no, I had five interviews out of
Mm.
700 applications, okay?
Damn.
Five, where I actually got to put my face or a voice into a job,
Right.
fucking five. And this one, I got the phone interview on a Wednesday. I did the Zoom interview with the two hiring people, kind of the trainer managers, on a Thursday, and I got the job offer on a Friday. It's I was going to say, but it doesn't matter, because I was applying for jobs in the collection business, things I've done before.
Mm-hmm.
And,
Right.
it's a non-management position, a little bit less money than what it would be, but I've got a lot of opportunity to make money, and it's no residency restrictions, all the things I wanted that way, fully remote, blah, blah, blah. It'll take
Right.
time to get into that, but the money part of it, actually making some money. But I was
Mm-hmm.
just like, fuck. And, the thing of it is that, I took my own advice. I took your advice. I took everyone's advice that was given to me. Is this shit is outside of my control, and
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you, it was getting to the point where every night when I lay down in the bed, went to go to bed to do my 10 step, and I, especially in the last probably month, 2 months, whatever it was, I'm sitting there. Some nights I'm just like, fuck, I don't know what to do anymore, you
Right.
know, because the only thing that what I finally came down to, and I stopped bitching about it when I was going to bed, is I would just say, okay, same thing. I'm like, your will, not mine. That's what I always used to say. I'd say it for
Mm-hmm.
everything. Your will, not mine, whatever your is, and then I'm like,
Right.
I could use some guidance. Um, Maybe a
Right.
sign. I'm not sure if I believe in them, but hey,
Right.
but I'm going to continue to do the work, and that's all I can do. And
Yeah.
that's what I did, and I would go to sleep. But man, it was driving me fucking nuts. But my point behind that is that, well, two things. Things like this, these are the stressors. Yeah, it's a big thing. It's a job and whatever, but
Mm-hmm.
things like this can drive people in the wrong direction. Um,
Sure.
if I was still drinking, I would have been a fucking mess. I just would have drank more.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And just because I've got some time under me doesn't mean I didn't feel the stress.
Oh,
And I
yeah.
know I was snippy. Sometimes I was quiet. I just kept to myself because
Mm-hmm.
I had this, I had this anxious rage inside of me,
Sure.
you know, and I'm like, this has nothing to do with anyone around me,
Right.
anyone I might
Mm-hmm.
come across, anything like that,
Mm-hmm.
so I just kept doing what I was doing. And my point is I got through it. But
Right.
here's the other thing, and this is from nothing to do with recovery, but to give anyone just a glimmer of hope if you're out there looking for a job. I did a lot of reading and a lot of research. I did a lot of activity on LinkedIn, and what I heard was, first of all, I wasn't the only one. That made me feel a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
There
Right.
was a ton of people, a few people were posting, things saying that the job market is just fucking brutal. And
Mm-hmm.
same people like me, 100, 500, 700 jobs, only a couple of interviews. And then this recruiter came on LinkedIn and wrote this article and said, okay, all you job seekers out there, get it? We're all dealing with recruiters were losing their fucking jobs. Okay.
Right.
Because there
Right.
weren't enough openings to fill. And I'm like, how does any of
Mm-hmm.
this shit happen? But anyhow, so what happened was this recruiter had this post, and she said, first of all, there's a bright light. I'll talk about that in a minute. But she said, this is what's been happening. I think it went maybe one article I read about the pandemic, all these things, this job boom, this whatever, everyone went remote, a lot of other positions because they had to fill things that weren't there before.
Mm-hmm.
So people go back into the office. A need sometimes for less people to support the people that are remote, all that sort of thing. And then
Right.
companies started to get this mindset over the last year or so is that they can do the same with less.
Mm-hmm.
So the hiring started going down.
Sure.
And I think AI has something to do with this. There's going to have something to
Mm-hmm.
do with this in a good way, not in a bad way. I don't think AI is going to take away from this. I think it's going to help because all these really, really intelligent people and even some non-intelligent people like me are figuring out how to be more productive using even just a little bit of AI, which frees
Mm-hmm.
up time to open up. Maybe the company says, okay, we're doing all this good work now. That would take 50% of our days now taking 30%. Here's all these back burner things we wanted to do. So let's do this. And now we need more people.
Right.
So that's what I think. And I'm no expert. That's just it. I've seen different things in business and it just seems right. But the recruiter said
Mm-hmm.
that all these companies, after the first of the year, brand new budgets open up, people will start hiring again. And literally, I mean, I got more responses, to people. There was jobs that weren't a fit for me, but I got more
Mm-hmm.
responses within the last 2 weeks before I got this job offer than I had in the last 3 months.
Right.
So
Well, there you go.
yeah,
So it is opening back up.
it is, I think. But and seriously, I know I can't be the only one out there that's looking for a job. So if you're listening to this and you were looking for a job or waiting for the dogs to bark, all of
Right.
that, all of that is opening back up. But no, seriously, just don't, you cannot lose faith. I was going to say, I'm saying you cannot.
Right.
It's not fucking worth it. Um,
Yeah.
recognize the angst and talk to somebody if you need to, or just shut your mouth so you don't fucking burn up a relationship or a bridge over it. It's not
Mm-hmm.
fucking worth literally. And I think I
Right.
used the term anxious rage, and that's
Yes.
not an understatement.
No. No. But this too shall pass.
Right. And it did. So,
Right.
all right.
Mm-hmm.
So I just,
May take a little longer than you wanted it to, but it will
yeah,
pass.
and it was one of, and I kept hearing your fucking voice in my head the entire time, and not in a bad way. Like, why is it taking so
Right.
long? It's gonna take as long as it's gonna take. That's why.
That's right.
All right, but anyhow, so you know what? Let's take a fucking break. It's time.
It is time. Apparently, it's someone else's time. It is time for us to shut the fuck up for a minute and have a word from our sponsor.
Hey everyone, it's your friends at Sober Not Mature.
Hi
And
there.
yes, it's both of your friends this time. Hi Mike, how are you?
I'm well. How are you, Bill?
I am doing well, but we do have a purpose. We actually usually talk about our one website, but we actually have two websites now. So we wanted two websites in one. All right, so everyone knows we still have the podcast website that is www.SoberNotMature.com. And we just launched the store website, so we also have that. Do you know what the website address is on that one, Mike?
Of course I don't.
It's pretty easy, Mike. It's
Yes.
www.SoberNotMatureShop.com. SoberNotMature.com.
Ah.
So, but from the podcast website, you can still hit the store link and get into the web store, or you can access it from our Instagram page through the highlights. We've been posting quite a bit about it, and we'll continue to do that. But do you know what's on the second website, Mike?
Well, there's a store. There are products that you can purchase for you and your loved ones.
Well, Mike, do we still have merchandise?
We have merchandise. Well, we got T-shirts and coffee mugs and all kinds of crap.
And one of the coolest parts, we also do have all the recovery books from Hazelden, which is kind of a big deal.
That is a big deal.
At least for us. So all the books that we read, God Grant Me, 24 Hours, the Big Book, the 12 and 12, all of those books are available for sale on our website. And again, that store website is www.sober.
Trying to help, man.
I know you are. You're not helping, though. Okay, now I got to say www.SoberNotMatureShop.com. .com. Visit that today, or visit the podcast website, which is, again, the podcast website. So
www.SoberNotMature.com.
Did you just say sober but not mature?
Yeah, sure. Write that down.
Yeah, like fucking mush mouth or something. All right, everyone. You've suffered enough with this, and we'll get back to what we were talking about previously. So visit the websites, though. All right, everyone. Welcome back. Welcome back to some more of our time.
Our time.
Our time.
Is this our time, Mr. Hand?
It is our time, Mr. Hand. If you're not look back on our episodes, you're gonna see Mr. Hand on there. That's a fun one. That's a fun one.
Mm-hmm.
Hang on one second here. I just gotta make a quick note. So
the late great Ray Walston.
Yeah. When did
My Favorite Martian?
Yeah, but when did he pass away?
I want to say like maybe the mid-90s.
God, was it really that long? Fuck.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Let's see.
I know. I was gonna say both of us have fucking computers in front of us.
When did Ray Walston die? 2001.
Yeah. Well, you said mid-90s. It's close enough.
Yeah.
I mean, it was
86 years old.
He had
a good run.
It's within a six window area, whatever.
6-year window.
Right.
Okay.
But you know what I thought about, though? Speaking of episodes, and again, and I tried to stop myself from saying again, but I didn't know what else to say. On to the next thing.
What?
No, the and again thing.
Just have a stroke?
No, I didn't. I was going to say, and again, this is our 100th episode, but
wow.
Like I'm trying to get away from...
I thought I was the one that was exhausted.
No, I'm trying to get away from saying the and again thing because it annoyed the fuck out of, remember?
Right, I know.
So, anyhow,
right. And again,
we are within our 100th episode. So, just curiosity wise, did you have, I don't know, I mean, this is probably a stupid question. It's hard to look back, but did you have a favorite episode out of the 100 or?
Jeez, no. It's like asking me to choose a favorite child. Oh wait, I only have one.
Right. So you're saying it's Amber. Okay, Amber.
Right. Yeah, that's an easy one.
Right.
Favorite no, I love them all, man.
Right.
I love them all equally.
Well,
I'll say mine because I love talking about myself. No. Seriously, there's been a couple that weren't as great as the rest, but only a couple
out
of 100.
Right.
Pretty fucking good, man.
Yeah.
I'd say, 92 of them have been absolutely wonderful.
Right. Well,
now you have to go back and listen to all of them to figure out the ones I'm talking about.
and the funny part is that, so I've been, and the only thing I'll do, I'll check our analytics a lot of times because it blows my mind sometimes still, the audience, we're still really, I mean, we're fucking crushing it with the 35 to 44-year-olds somehow again. More men and more within that age group, but it'll flop around when it's a female side of things. We've had that same age group. So if you're in that 35 to 44 range, I have no fucking idea why you guys are like the special group now, but almost half of our listeners in the last 30 days have been within that
Mhm.
range. And
Hmm.
I don't know. I don't know where y'all fucking came from, but stick around. It's cool. Thank you. Tell
Right,
your friends
absolutely. Well, probably because we're like, 20 years behind where we should be, so they
too.
relate to us.
Right. Right. Yeah. Nice. That probably is. That probably is. But so the first, I don't know, 13, 15 episodes, for anyone who, if you popped in and started listening to us, in the later episodes,
Mhm.
we've talked about this before. The early episodes up from episode 1 to episode 22, it's before we got Riverside, so it's before we got this
Right.
software. The audio in some cases was sketchy, in other cases it just downright fucking sucked,
Mhm.
and echoing and cutting out, and Mike and I talking over each
Right.
other, and because neither one of us could hear the other one was talking, and it was just
Right.
it was back when we were, back in the day when we were just, poor little new podcast boys.
Right. Couple of tin cans and a
Yeah,
string
and it was
connected to the internet.
only about one or two steps ahead of a tin fucking can too, because it was
Right.
just our
Oh,
cell
yeah.
phones. But
Right.
the first 10 episodes, even taking out the first three, because the episode number 2 is us just fucking around trying to get this set up. My episode 1, your episode 3. So the ones that we started telling stories are basically starting with episode 4, like 4
Mhm.
through 10, actually up until 13, I think, where there was a lot of good stories, a lot of background to what we went through,
Mhm.
in our early days, so
Introducing ourselves to the
yeah,
world.
and I mean, just literally talking about shit that popped off the top of our heads. Um,
Well, that hasn't changed.
right. But, now it's like we'll talk about something like, well, we talked about this a long time ago, but here's just we'll give again, the
Right.
Cliff's Notes version. But so if you just popped in recently, anytime, go back to those episodes. If you can, you know, just trudge your way through the weirdness in the audio. I'd say again, episodes 4 through probably 15, is probably a lot of our
Mm.
stories. But the other thing too is I try to, in the descriptions of every episode, at least give a brief idea of what we talked about. Sometimes we
Right.
just talked about way too much, and I'm like, just fucking listen, you know. I mean,
Mhm.
or I'm tired, like the one time that
Yep.
we recorded late, and I think I wrapped up, everything that I was doing at like 1 in the morning or something like that.
Mhm.
But that was a fun episode. That was one of we were just fucking punched up like crazy on that one. but um, but yeah, so the other one too, we talked about Mom's episode. That's a given.
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
Dr. Sarah was she was a phenomenal guest. She was just a lot of fun,
Mhm.
and she's somebody we would like to have on, again. Every one of our Cleveland friends were special for just because they're our Cleveland friends. And then
Right.
all the other guests that we've had authors, we had Dr. Sarah, we've had, business individuals, we've had people that done different, types of programs. We've had men, women, young, old, different
Mhm.
races, different backgrounds, different sexual orientations, just this
Yep.
whole mix of these, I don't know how else to say it, these beautiful stories from these fucking random people, and I
Right.
say that in the most loving way.
Oh, yeah.
Fucking random
Drunks and
people. Yeah.
junkies.
Yeah. So,
Couple crackheads thrown in.
right, just sprinkled in with a couple of crackheads.
Yeah.
But in majority of them, the people that we didn't know came to us, and came to
Right.
us for some ungodly reason, and it's, I don't know, we've had a lot of fun, and even the audio on some of our later episodes, depending on how the connection was, we've had a couple of weird episodes with that. But I
Mhm.
don't know. I mean, you had said it when we were on, last week with the guys, with Shannon and Chris, and you had
Mhm.
said that, yeah, you're looking up and you're like, man, this is episode 99. You're like, fuck, I'm kind of proud of that.
Right.
And it is, it's just something with every fucking Friday, and I'm proud of the fact that we haven't had. I'm grateful. I'm proud of it, but I'm also grateful that nothing has come up that has prevented us from doing it.
Mm.
And that's one thing. If we
Right.
had a life thing that prevented us from doing it, Mom's death was
Mm.
probably the biggest challenge. Just if that would have been a challenge thing, but that was one of the best things we could have done. Um,
Right.
and other than that, we just fucking worked around it, worked around
Yeah.
people's
Yeah.
schedules, yours, mine, guests that we
Mhm.
had, and that sort of
Sure.
thing. And I'm proud of that because, there's millions of fucking podcasts out there. Some, like you
Mhm.
said, what you said, 3 episodes. What was the first one? 11 and done, was some the
Yeah.
first.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Like I said, I was listening to the radio show last week, and they were talking about, yeah, there's millions of podcasts out there, and most people do 3 or 4 of them and go, well, I'm not getting rich, so fuck this.
Right.
That's not what we did this for.
Right.
We did this for us and for you guys.
Yep. Yeah, and it's just they were talking about it. It came up on the radio this morning. I was listening to the morning show again out of Milwaukee, and whatever they had talked about, they had said something about a podcast. They're like, yeah, everyone's got a podcast, and I'm like, yeah, we
Right.
do. Everyone does.
Yep, we do.
And it is. It's the thing to do. And when I listen to Smartless, when I listen to Mark Maron, when I listen to a lot of the other podcasts, a lot of these guests, these celebrities now have podcasts on the side.
Right.
And
yeah.
the Smartless. Did I tell you about the Smartless guys in Amazon? Okay, so no idea. Oh, I know how I ran across it. On Google's homepage on my phone, it pops up like when you open Google, it's got that little it's got a little news feed on the bottom of the Google search. And I saw the 3 guys from Smartless, and it's like something about Smartless payday or whatever, and I'm like, click. So I'm reading it, and this happened back in, I think, the summer of 21, and they launched during the pandemic. I think they launched sometime in 2020, with their Smartless podcast. And once again, it's Jason Bateman, it's Will Will Arnett. Wow.
Yeah.
And then Sean Hayes. God damn, I almost forgot his name too. Yeah, Sean Hayes. And then Will Arnett. So all stars, all Hollywood people and all that stuff. So that's one thing, but they've got this natural type of chemistry, if nothing else. They have great conversations. They're funny. They fuck around with each other and all that stuff. So it's engaging to listen to. But then again, you figure, okay, so they can also get stars on there, but so does Mark Maron and all these other guys. So however it happened, Amazon approached them and bought out the rights to it or whatever it is, and this and that. It's like an $80 million deal they got.
Damn.
Yeah, from Amazon. So it's Amazon and this Wondery app, and they handle it's like all of their Amazon, kind of like it. I don't know if they own a piece of it or if they're covering all of it, but so it's Amazon exclusive for all that stuff, but it's through this Wondery app, which must be an Amazon thing. And I'm like, holy fuck.
Yeah.
I mean, these guys are fucking millionaires to begin with. I don't begrudge them, for it at all.
Sure.
No,
right.
And they just got fucking lucky, and I mean, they had everything that all these other stars have, but I haven't heard of, I know Mark Maron makes a decent living now, but he worked his fucking ass off to build up his podcast. And then, they just fucking Amazon walks up and says, hey, here's 80 million. Yeah. And I'm like, well, wait, what's $60 in? Oh yeah, if you'd like to support the podcast, we do accept.
Right.
You'd have to buy. How many copies would they have to buy at $5 a piece to hit even $1 million? It's a lot of fucking copies.
Yeah.
But
yes.
Kidding, you don't have to buy us 1 million copies, but if you want to buy us 1 or 2, yes, go visit the website, figure out how to support us. If you fucking want to, if not, don't just keep listening. That's fine.
Right.
But yeah, just kind of
like, share, and give us a review.
Right. Yeah. Share it if you know anyone at Amazon. Just
hey, Bezos.
Hey, you Bezos motherfuckers. Yeah, let's see if our computers are listening to this.
Right.
Alexa, talk to Jeff Bezos for me. I hope somebody's Alexa is going off. Wait, let me do it again.
Right.
Alexa, call Jeff Bezos. But anyhow, but no, I mean the main thing is that I didn't really well, first of all, I knew you were gonna come up with a favorite episode. I just thought it'd be fun to put you on the spot. But I don't know. The other thing too, if nothing else, even if somebody if you don't have the time to listen to all our episodes now, just scroll through and take a look at just the episode title if you want to laugh. The episode titles are fucking hilarious. Mike does all the pictures he picks out, with very few exceptions. Probably 15 total. Some of the guests we use their pictures.
Yeah, right.
I picked out,
If we have a guest on, we usually use a picture,
yeah,
right?
rarely do we use another one. But I did the Grim Reaper Cheesehead for the Cheeseland Chronicles. That was a great episode title to begin with, but
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the only
Right.
one that I picked out. And you're like, oh no, that one's good.
Right.
And then, but the rest of them, yeah, they're all Mike. So read the titles because those make me laugh. Every once in a while when I'm looking at our statistics and I see that people listen to episode 15 or episode 21, and I see the episode
Mhm.
title and I just fucking giggle. I don't know what they are, and I just look up. It just fucking makes me laugh. But I don't know. We're having fun. I guess that's the main thing. Like we were talking about last week, and like Chris said, even if, and we've said this along the way, is that if anyone's getting it, that the small number, relatively speaking, small number of people that listen to us, clearly those small number of people, you guys have to be getting something from this because I don't know why you'd
Mhm.
fucking come back. I mean, if you're not getting something, why are you here? And I'm just saying that
Right.
for you, the listener, why would you waste your time with us? So
Right.
we appreciate the fact that people are coming back and whatever you're getting out of it, if it's nothing else but just to say, boy, these guys are fucking idiots and it makes me laugh, we're fine with that. I've
Absolutely.
been known for Mike's been known and I've been known for far worse than that.
Mm.
So we're good
Oh,
with it.
much.
We're good with it.
Yes, we are.
So anyhow, I don't know. It's fun. We're coming up on our 2-year mark coming up at the end of February. So yeah,
Yeah.
we'll have another opportunity to hurt our arms, patting ourselves on the back in a little over a month.
Right.
So yeah, but I don't know. It's just I like you said, 99 episodes when you said that. Fucking 100 episodes. It blows my mind. It's crazy.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, right. That'll be
Yeah,
104.
exactly.
Be 2 years. Nice. I can do simple math.
It was funny though. About a month ago, I'm sitting there. I was doing the math and I'm adding up, and I wanted to look back. So I'm like, do we start after? So the 2-year mark is at 104. So do we start the new
Mhm.
season at 105 or at 104? And I look back, and so episode number 105 is going to be the start of our new season. Stay
Ooh.
tuned for an all fresh look, all new everything.
Right.
Yeah. Everyone, hold your breath. Big things are coming with episode 105
Right.
in season 5.
New and improved.
Hey, by the way, we're fucking lying.
That's right. It's going to be the same old
I'm
bullshit.
going to do a goddamn thing, too. All right. Let's see here. Oh, I know what I was going to say. When I mentioned before about the reading. So you don't read the book a day at a time, correct? That's the one that, because you keep it simple, God grant me 24-hour book, right?
Yeah, that's the rotation at the moment.
Okay.
Yes.
So I've been reading the book a day at a time, which is, still a Hazelden book and all that stuff, but I like it.
Right.
And I like the setup. It's, I don't know, it's a 24-hour, it's almost to me kind of like a mix, almost of the 3 that you're reading right now. It's just it's a healthy mix of that. If you like their setup and their structure, it talks about a lot of different things, some God stuff and whatever, but I like it. See,
yeah. Well, I've got what is it? Yeah, Keep It Simple is I think this is the second time I've been through it, or maybe the third. But either way, yeah, the beginning of next year, if I'm still around, I will be looking for that new third one. So I'll probably hit that one up. I've done daily reflections. I've done oh God, I've done a few of them. Yeah.
I think
over the years.
I think I read daily refreshers.
Refreshers.
Right. I don't know why that fucking cracked me up so much. Daily refreshers.
Right.
Super. I think I read that for a little bit. I don't remember. There was a couple of them that I dipped into that I didn't stick with, but anyhow, so a day at a time I've been reading for at least 2 years, because I know I've been reading it at a minimum since I've been down here, so that's a year and a half, and then shit, it might even be 2 or 3 years now. But so substance use disorder and substance use and all that stuff, those are the new terms and all that. And I'm going to probably go off on a tangent here in a minute, but
all right.
Anyone remember the Dennis Miller show? I don't mind if I go off on a tangent. I didn't mean it that way. Although I used to like that or go off on a rant, as you used to say. I'm going to go off on a rant.
Yes.
That used to crack me up, though. Honestly, it really did.
Mm-hmm.
But so that book is on my phone. Okay. And I
Right.
think I would have noticed it last year when I was reading it, that these
Mm-hmm.
words, these phrases are now in that book. Okay. So
Oh.
substance use and substance use disorder is now showing up in my readings in this book. Not every day,
Mm.
but so people with substance use issues or substance abuse disorder, and I'm like, well, that's kind of fucking weird. So I'm reading on, and then it's happened probably a handful of times, to the point where I
Uh-huh.
clearly notice it. It'd be like if somebody put the word Satan in, where God used to be. I think I'd notice
All
it.
right.
Yeah, right. Holy shit! You just almost
Yeah.
you just almost fucking redlined on. Let me turn your volume down and get a little excited there. Hang on here. Let's there. I just
Yeah,
throttled you
yeah,
back
yeah.
just in case. I looked up there. I see this flash on my screen. I'm like, fuck. Sorry, sorry.
Was it a red flash? That's
Sorry,
right.
ladies.
The power of Satan compels you.
Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. If you're in your car with your volume turned up, that just busted out your windows.
Nice.
But and I'm like, really? I'm like, fucking
Mm-hmm.
why? But and here's the
Mm-hmm.
here's the only thing, and I want to step back in this, and if we have listeners that use those terms, I have no fucking issue with it. It's not the term
Right.
that matters to me. It's the fact that the term doesn't have to be replaced fucking everywhere. It just doesn't. If you want to call
Mm-hmm.
yourself a person with a substance use disorder, I don't care. As Mike says, I'll refer to my friend Mike over there. The fucking
Mm.
solution is the same. You're going to end up in the same place, follow the
Right.
same path. You're doing your own thing with your own label, but you're not hurting anyone. You're getting better yourself. More power to you. Okay. But
Yep.
um, I don't understand why these books need to change the word. I don't, and
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't make any sense to me because these books are written based on, these are books on alcoholism. They're people that alcohol and drug addicts, and I don't know. It just I don't understand why that somebody made a conscious decision to go in and
Sure.
change these digital books, from alcoholic or alcoholism to substance use
Mm-hmm.
disorder, and I don't fucking get it. I just don't. I don't like it either,
Mm.
but I don't get it.
Yeah, right. I understand
Yeah,
it. They're
right,
trying to be more inclusive and, help more people is really the root of it. But we all know what the road to hell is paved with.
right,
Good intentions,
right,
kiddies. Yeah, it's whatever. I read the word God several times every day, and it's the same damn thing.
right,
It's a word. It's a word I don't relate to, but I understand where it comes from, and I move
right,
on. It doesn't apply to me, but I move on. I can substitute whatever I want for it. Whatever. Substance abuse disorder. I'm a fucking
right.
drunk. I'm a fucking junkie. I'm a crackhead. Well, I'm not really a crackhead. I smoke some cracks occasionally, but
Your head has had crack in it before, so at one point
oh,
at
absolutely.
one point you
Oh,
were,
yes, of
at a
course.
minimum, you were a crackhead for a very short amount of time.
Right. Yeah. Right. Several hours. You don't just you don't just take one hit. Come on
You
now.
were you were
Um,
a leisurely crackhead.
I always said I was a social crack
Right.
smoker
Right.
because I never did it by myself and I never paid for it. And yeah, I would smoke crack if somebody else had it and they were willing to share it with
Yeah.
me. Sure, I was a social crack
I
smoker.
mean, I, I don't think that term applies in very many cases, but the way you just described that, that's the that
Mm.
that applies. That that
Yeah,
lines up.
right.
It checks out.
Oh, absolutely. I had a bottle of booze in my hand while I was
Right.
doing it, but yeah, absolutely. Yep.
But yeah, and I get it, and you probably made the best point, and that's the reason I brought it up. Because sometimes just
Mm,
getting this shit out of my head and not, um,
right.
not stewing on it helps. Because I get
It's what we
right.
do.
Um, but like you said, more inclusive. I get that, and I'm all for that, and
Hmm.
trying to help more people.
Sure.
So
Yep.
I get that. I get that. But the only thing that I will when because people have talked about changing the big book and all that sort of things. And
Right.
I would that would bum me out if somebody completely rewrote the big book and changed a lot of things on that.
Hmm.
Now, if somebody wants to, again, like years ago there was Coke, and then there was New Coke. if somebody wants to
Yep.
make new big book, I'm fine with that. I don't have to drink it. I'll stick with
Right.
original recipe big book, and then
Yeah, right.
y'all can read new big book over there. I'm fine with that.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Right. That's called Narcotics Anonymous.
right? But you know what I mean. Just you don't have to get rid of the book because
Mm-hmm.
I think and I could be completely wrong with all of this stuff, but the the movement over the last handful of years, and this gets into a lot of politics and probably deep things that we, first of all, have no desire, no need to talk about. But the
Mm-hmm.
movement out there to change certain things that have been offensive to groups and classes of people, groups of people, classes of
Mm-hmm.
people, and all those sort of things. I understand that. I mean, there's certain things that there's words and phrases, there's mindsets that worked back, 75 years ago, because that's the way society was, that just don't
Sure.
fucking work today, and
Right.
fine with that. I do think in
Mm-hmm.
some cases there's extremism on both sides. I'm not throwing blame. Yeah,
Always.
I was just gonna say not blaming anyone because it's always that way. Um,
It's everybody's
right.
fault.
But the only thing that I go back to on these words, like the person that was trying to get rid of the word alcoholic, is just that
Mm-hmm.
alcoholic's it's not a bad word. It's not an insulting word. I'll even say the word.
No.
It's not a racist word. It's not
No.
insulting to groups of people. Because if it was along the lines of all those other things, it's like somebody was in a class defined as that. You're not defined as that. If you have a problem with alcohol, you can call yourself anything you want, and nobody's going to
Yeah. Right.
oppress you for it.
Mm-hmm.
But for those of us, and we're young, considering young in this program,
Mm-hmm.
to have probably these strong of feelings about the word. But think about these guys back again when all the big book and stuff. And I get it, old language and all that shit, but the word
Mm-hmm.
means something to a lot of people. And make new words, be who you want. To Mike's point, and I'm glad you brought it up. Be more inclusive, help more people. Just
Mm-hmm.
don't
Sure.
take away my book, and don't take away my word.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's all I
Right.
ask.
Well, nobody. Yeah, and nobody
Right.
can. Yeah. I mean, nobody can. The other way around. Nobody can convince me I'm an alcoholic other than
Right.
myself. So yeah, I'm the only one that can say I'm an alcoholic, and I choose to say, back to choices, I choose to say I'm an alcoholic because I fully believe that I am. And all that encompasses that. Yeah, and well, there's already talking about changing the big book. I mean, they're getting ready to put out the 5th edition.
Right.
They're like building it now, and yeah, there's probably some bullshit going on with that, and there's probably some shit that we're not going to like. When that 5th edition comes out, I personally have a 3rd edition. That's my big book. I'm pretty sure yours is 4th. I got lucky. I got a 3rd.
Really?
Yeah, it showed up at the Keating Center. It was a 3rd edition. I went, snack, that's mine. Yeah, pretty sure yours is 4th, and I've got a softcover 4th edition. Yeah, and I can go and I can buy a 1st edition copy.
Right.
It's a choice I have today.
Oh yeah, mine says I just grabbed it. It does say 4th
Yep.
edition.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's probably the one that's the most probably widely distributed out there now, right? Would be the 4th. Okay.
Yeah. Well, it's the latest, and it's also, I think it's been probably 20 years.
Really?
So yeah, right. Yeah, I just saw something online the other day that about the 5th edition, and suggestions and blah 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 blah, and I fucking ignored
Oh yeah,
it.
that was somebody from
Yeah, it was
the spiritual retreat. Yeah.
yeah.
Right.
Yep. Cool with me, man.
Right.
Whatever. Do what you got to do. I got a book.
Yeah, and I mean, the book that I have, I have there's no reason in the world that I'll ever buy another big book. I mean, that
Right.
one was given to me by Scott with the glasses,
Mhm.
in the
Right.
Beetle, Volkswagen Beetle. So
Yeah.
Scott gave me mine, and it was a used book, and I love it. I
Mhm.
mean, it's mine, and I'm
Yep.
never gonna try.
Right.
I don't see a fucking reason to ever get a new one.
Yeah.
I mean, it's got my, it's got my recipe in there. It's got my instructions.
Mm.
It's
Mm-hmm.
got all
That's
that in
right.
there.
That's right.
My
It's the instructions for the cake that I baked.
right, my secret sauce.
Well.
Well, hi there. Well, everything's got to have its secret sauce, right?
That's right.
But yeah, so you know what? Like I said, I'm glad I brought that up because you made a good point. Those two things, and again, helping people, and I'll
Right.
say it again because I think they're important. Being more inclusive and helping more people. So I'll just when I see it now, I'll just read over it and I'll say "fucking alcoholic" when I see those words.
Yep,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Okay,
Yep.
I'm up.
And I'll just great pumpkin,
Right.
man. Yep.
All right. Well, see that I wanted to bitch more about that. I think in my head somewhere I wanted to bitch about that more, but I'm glad.
Sure. Well, I would love to. I could do it right along with you, but what the fuck's the
Right.
point?
And this I'm glad I don't have to. I appreciate the fact that you put that you of all people put.
I know. Right.
Did you,
Oh yeah. Again, talk about thoughts and yeah, right. My thoughts are, fuck all that bullshit. But if you're too much of a pussy to call yourself a drunk, then fucking get out of the
Right.
room. No. But that's wrong. So I don't say that. What I say is call yourself whatever you like. Come on in. We love you anyway.
Yeah, it's just I could hear everyone out there just listening to this going, did you hear what Mike did? Mike was nice. Yeah. Yeah, crazy. Just crazy.
Yep.
So just real quick, and I get this reminder every year from legacy.com. So I know I mentioned it on here before, but my first sponsor died of pancreatic cancer, died sober, and I think he was 17 years. He might have been 18 years sober at the time. I don't remember. Probably
Right.
in that area. But so it popped up again, and I didn't remember how old he was when he died. But I just kind of popped into it, popped into the email. And first of all, it was January 18th of 2013. So, I mean, as of yesterday, it was 11 years ago, which is fucking crazy, it's fucking mind blowing, but he was only 49. So, but that was, I didn't remember that. I knew he was young, but I just didn't remember how young, but
shit. Yeah. Oh,
yeah,
wow.
but the thing with it is with him, and he had told me it was before, maybe it was when he first started going in for the testing and stuff like that. And when he was saying he's having some trouble, when he was a kid, he had some sort of problem with his pancreas, and they ended up doing surgery, and they took out like half of his pancreas. And I don't know if it was from somehow, some way, if that's because he had pancreatic cancer. I mean, I don't know if that, if you have surgery at that point, something happens, blah, blah, whatever. I don't. Once again, I'm not a doctor.
You're not a doctor?
Let me write that down again.
Wait,
ladies and gentlemen.
let me write that down. You should, Bill is not a doctor.
Once again, though, this will be my favorite line every time I bring it up. I'm also not a gynecologist, but I'm more than happy to take a look. I just thought always throw that out there. But I just think about that. I mean, number one, he was young, how tragic, and all those sort of things. And it's my first sponsor. He's a good dude, but I still look back at just all the fucking good work that he did, and all the people that he touched in a good way.
Yikes.
But lives that he changed, and we were talking about with this, if this helps even one person, my God, I mean, he had a church full and a lobby full of people just there to celebrate his death, and I don't know, things like that. It wasn't even a down thing when I saw it. I was just like, well, when I saw the 49, I'm like, God damn, that was the one thing. But I don't know, every year when it pops up, because the fact that I signed his guest book, I get the email reminder every year, and it makes me smile because he was such. I'm glad that he was that I was able to have him, in my life for even that short amount of time, and he did a lot of work. He did a lot of work for me too. So yeah, it was all good shit.
Yep.
Did what he was supposed to do as a sponsor, right? But he did it well. He did it really well.
Huh? Well, clearly something worked because you're still fucking around.
Exactly. Yeah, I got no place else to be. Maybe that's the other thing. No place else to go, nothing else to do. I guess I'll hang out here. All right. So There was and I don't remember why I wrote this down, so I'm gonna read what I wrote down. The phrase "idle hands are the devil's playground." It means that someone who is unoccupied and bored will find mischief, or
Mm,
someone who has nothing to do will partake in something that will get him in trouble. So, do
mm.
you that is that a phrase? I mean, I've heard that phrase throughout my
Oh, sure.
life, but I think I've heard it in recovery.
Right.
So, do you agree with something like that, like
Hmm.
the idle hands type of thing, that it could get into either mischief or get yourself into trouble? Is that something you agree with or no?
I mean, I understand the concept. Again, I understand the concept of it. Yeah, keep yourself busy. Do something for somebody else. I've heard that somewhere
Right.
before.
I think
Um,
100
right,
times since we've had 100 episodes.
right. And I mean, boredom is just, yeah, boredom is a reflection of being fucking
Right.
selfish. I'm bored. I don't have anything to do. Well, fucking go find something to do. Right. You ungrateful piece of shit. Right. Yeah. I mean, I again understand the concept. Yeah, basically agree with it. I fucking crave not having anything to
Right.
do. Uh, I'm so I'm so grateful when I could just lay around for a day, fucking watch TV and order some food and uh yeah, it doesn't happen often
Right.
anymore. Yeah, yes, keep yourself busy so that when you can carve out time to not do anything, that means something too. That's a good turn that idleness into something good. It's a time to shut down, recharge, and all that because you've been busy. Yeah. Um, I suppose if you don't have anything going on, yeah, you're probably again selfishness. You're gonna start doing bad shit because if you're completely focused on yourself, there's nothing good that can come out of that
Right.
ever.
Right.
So I mean, yeah, that's the concept, and sure, why not?
after after all that, yeah, sure, why not? Why not?
Sure, why not?
And well, here's the thing: is that
Don't be a bum.
I have trouble, but I think it's more of a I don't know if I ever went in to try to get whatever they do to figure out if somebody has like ADHD or something like that. I think I'd be off the
They put a finger up your ass. You didn't know that?
right.
Whatever they
Right.
do.
Well, whatever testing they do, to try to figure it out.
That's what I'm talking
Right.
about.
But I think that whatever it is, I do have trouble sitting still sometimes, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't like and you put it a perfect way and it's a great place to be in. Now when we were newly sober, not having anything to do, and that's when you're like you don't know what to do with yourself. There's these old thoughts and habits,
Mm-hmm.
old thoughts of old habits come into our heads, and I can see
Sure.
this applying more.
Because you don't have anything else to think
Right.
about. You don't know any better.
Right. And now, I mean, I'll sit down to watch a TV show, and I'll usually have my phone, laying on the bed or wherever it
Mm-hmm.
is. And if I really want him, I'm like, I'm just fucking done. Turn the phone over. It's still on the bed, but just turn it over so I don't see the screen flash at me, and I
Mm-hmm.
just fucking leave it be. And
Right.
just it's really fucking nice.
Uh-huh.
And I'm not thinking about
Yeah.
anything but this mindless fucking TV show that means nothing to me,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm getting I'm getting
Right.
43 minutes or 57 minutes or whatever of just entertainment out of it. And it's fine. It's a
Mm-hmm.
that's what I like about TV and movies. It's a time to just escape. I don't necessarily escape into the movie. I'm not one of those people
Right.
that becomes part of that type of thing and you get so into it. But I
Right.
don't know. You get to just watch somebody else, be a fuck up or enjoy themselves or beat the shit out of somebody if it's an action movie, and like, oh, that's kind of cool.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But I don't even remember where, as always, I don't remember where that came from. But yeah, so that just kind of popped into. That was one of the things I had written down. But so on a whole nother note, well, this is kind of it turns out, hey everybody, this is a segue sort of.
Mm.
So I had told you, I don't know, I was looking around at different places that kind of once I get settled and everything, the fact that I could move around where I want to go and that sort of thing. And one of the
Mhm.
places I had looked at was, and I think I told you, Myrtle Beach was a place I was looking at.
Right.
And a lot of times, once again, with that, not necessarily, call this more of a daydreaming. I'll pop in Airbnb and do different searches and things like that. And I popped in because I had a couple of places saved in that area. And I was looking at prices, and I mean, they're like 50% of what it is right now. And I'm like,
Uh-huh.
hmm.
Yeah.
So I have time because I don't start until, February 5th. I'm like, I wonder if I could do like a getaway. So I figured it all out. I figured out where I can, credit cards, that I can do this sort of thing. And literally for like, it's like, 300-400 bucks, I can go spend 4 days in Myrtle Beach. So I'm going.
Huh?
Yeah. I'm
Nice.
going on, actually it's a 14-hour drive down there, which is fine.
Mhm.
I'm not going to do what I did last time when I went down to Oklahoma where I did the other stops. I mean, I could do that ideally,
Mhm.
but it's not even the matter of the days. It'd be the extra money to try to book places there and back. So I'm like, fuck it, I'll just suck
Mhm.
it up and do
Right.
it. I mean, worst case,
Right.
I'll if I get tired, I'll stop along the way and just, fall asleep in a truck stop parking lot for a couple hours, but
Mm.
right. Or try.
Lock your
Yeah, I
doors.
know. Try to find someplace safe. But anyhow, so yeah, the best dates came up. So I'm actually leaving this coming Wednesday night, and I'm staying
Mm.
through Monday morning. And two things that when I was looking for it, because a lot of these places down there, it's a condo and it's right on the ocean,
Right.
first floor.
Mhm.
So I mean, literally, you could walk out from where the building is, like I don't know, 20 yards or something like that, and you're on the beach, which is kind of cool. Um,
Mhm.
but I looked for a place that had an Ethernet connection because
Ah.
Friday night, we see this is everything we were talking about.
Oh.
I planned, I literally didn't book a place till I was sure. I mean, worst case scenario, if I got there and they fucking lied about the Ethernet connection, I mean, the Wi-Fi will be fine, because I know people do it.
Mhm.
I would just feel more comfortable if I was plugged in. So that was one of the
Right.
things I did. But literally, I mean, the pricing of this place, and it's a condo on this little resort type of thing, but it's like half the price of what it would normally be. It'd probably be like,
Oh, yeah.
it's crazy.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, it's like where we go to Port Clinton, in August. I mean, we could go there. It's like $250 a night or something. Well, I could go there now, and it's like $50 a night, same
Right,
room.
right. Yeah, and that's the thing. And I looked at the weather right now, and all over the country is cold. I mean, right now, like at this
Yep.
moment. But I think it's as of Wednesday, Tuesday or Wednesday is when the weather changes a little bit. When I looked at the weather, there's a chance for rain. I think, if not every day, 3 out of the 4 days that I'm going to be there or whatever it is, at least a slight chance, but not like 100% thunderstorm type of thing. But it's going to be in
Hmm.
the, like 60 to 70 degrees, and
Right.
I'll be on an ocean. And if it rains, I don't give a fuck, But that's,
Right.
I started thinking about that when we were talking about, time to do nothing. I mean, I can still, I'll have my computers with me and stuff like that. I can still do stuff. But so here's the thing. There's three things, and this is the other thing that just popped into my head. So, um, I wrapped this around to make sure the podcast was in shape because that's important to me and important to us. And I wouldn't have done it if I
Hmm.
couldn't. If, I would have done it over a Friday night if I couldn't have a place where I knew I could record. But
Hmm.
I looked up once I got that all set, got everything else set. Three things that I looked up. Okay, what do you think the number one thing that I looked up that was nearby? Well, what
Food.
kind of food though?
I don't
Friday
know.
Friday
Barbecue?
night.
Oh,
Yep.
pizza.
There is a Domino's. Um, honest to God, first thing I looked up, Domino's, 5 minutes away. Okay.
Hmm.
Next thing I looked up was AA meetings because I want to go to meetings when I'm down
Mm.
there. And there's
Right.
an Alano club. I mean, there's Alano clubs everywhere, it seems,
Sure.
but so that's like, I don't know, like 15 or 16 minutes away. And I looked and it looks like it's one of those places. It's a club. So, I mean, they got, meetings all throughout the day and stuff like that. And then the
Hmm.
third thing I looked up was, grocery store to buy food. So yeah, two food items
Right.
and one thing to keep me sober. But
Nice.
yeah, there's a Kroger right down the road. And I'm like, fucking Kroger. That's the. I mean, Kroger bought out all the pick and saves and stuff in Wisconsin. So I was shopping
Mm.
from or at basically a Kroger store for the last, I don't know, 4 years, 5 years that I was in Germantown. So I'm like, as soon as I
Right?
saw that, I'm like, fuck, man, I'm set. I got Domino's, I got AA, I got fucking Kroger. I'm good.
Mm.
But yeah, it was one of
Nice.
those ones where, I mean, I looked at it and I figured out, because and I wasn't bullshit, man. I've used up a lot of money during this time frame. But
Mm-hmm.
over the last couple of days, I sat and literally just, pen to paper, put everything down, figured out, bills I have and things like that, being fucking responsible first. Because I thought about this thing
Mm-hmm.
like a week ago, and I'm like, I don't even know if I could do it, um, but yeah, I get everything covered. Everything's, from things
Cool.
I usually pay with, whether it's cash, credit card available, anything like that I need. I'm like, well, it's one of those things. I got some bills to pay off after all this. I come out of this anyhow. And I'm like, what's another, I don't know, $600 or $700.
Yeah. Go.
So yeah, I get to go to Myrtle Beach. Never been. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
But
Cool.
yeah, that was my last. I think, well, that wasn't really necessarily a planned thing, but that popped into my head when we were talking about idle hands. I think I'm gonna be having me some idle hands for a couple of days. I think.
Nice.
Yeah, and
Good.
I don't know. And again, I got shit I could do and whatever, but I don't know. I just thought about it. It's in, like I said, first floor, and there's a like a railing and stuff there for it looks like in the.
So you don't like trip into the
No, I
ocean.
mean it's probably 20 yards or 30 yards off even
I
to the
know.
beach, but it's not an open patio because I was looking. I'm like, oh, so I'd have to kind of like jump the fence actually to do it, but I'd probably walk out
Mm.
the door anyhow. Because if I went on the beach, I'm not going to just leave the place unlocked,
Yeah.
So. But either way, I don't know. It'll be nice. If it's 60 degrees, 'cause I'm like, ooh, 60 degrees is not. Then I look at the weather here. It's fucking 8. It's 8 with
Right.
4 or 5 inches of snow that came down today, and another God could be
Mm-hmm.
another 6 inches tonight. And I'm like, yeah, I don't care. 60
Yep.
degrees, a little bit of rain. I'm fine with it.
Mm-hmm.
So, what else? What else on this legendary 100th episode, Mr. Mike? Back to you, Mike.
You know what, man? I got fucking
Yeah.
nothing. I really don't. It was a long goddamn day. It was, yeah, the weather here was horrible. The roads were shit. Yeah, it was just, it took me, I was basically done working at about 2:30. I got home at almost 7. So yeah, it just took me forever. There were wrecks everywhere and, crawling along at 20 miles an hour on a fucking interstate. And yeah, it was a horrible day. But you know what? It's all in my past right now. I'm sitting here doing a podcast with my buddy and it's all
Right.
good. Nope, got through it. Didn't kill anybody. Didn't get drunk. Didn't do anything wrong.
Oh, and when because Mikey called me earlier, and I pick up the phone, I'm like, hey, how you doing? He's like, well, I have no idea when I'm going to be home. And I'm like, really? So yeah, he's telling me all this stuff, and that he's stuck. And then this movie came into my head. I'm like, yeah, do you remember that movie with John Candy? He hops into a truck with a trucker, and he's like, nope, not ringing a bell. I'm like, truck driver calls him Slim. Nope, not ringing a bell. And then I'm
Nope.
like, well, the point is just fucking drive your truck through all of them. He's like, there's trucks in front of me. So I'm like, there's fucking trucks in front of you. That doesn't work. So I looked it up. It's
Right.
the movie Armed and Dangerous with John Candy and Eugene Levy.
Eugene Levy. Yes, I have seen it, but it was a long time
Yeah, well,
ago.
first of all, I couldn't remember. I looked up literally my Google search, John Candy with trucker runs cars off the road, and it popped up right away.
Right.
I fucking love Google. And literally, what the fuck did we do without the internet? And not even just the internet. What the fuck would we do without Google?
Right.
God.
We were living in caves.
Yeah, well,
I
even
believe.
today, if somebody took away fucking Google, it's been around for.
Right.
I think it came out right before. I think it's as old as Derek. It's like 20, 23 years old.
Sounds about right. Yeah. Well, we certainly wouldn't know when Ray Walston died.
Right. Yeah. It helped us with that. It helped us with John Candy. It's helped us, I don't know how many times. So
all kinds of dead people.
All kinds of Google and shit. All right. Well, that was it. I wanted to tell you that part too, and then see if you had anything else to add. But I think, unless I'm mistaken, unless you want to run longer, we can go longer. I got time.
No, I'm good.
That was complete sarcasm on my part, but all right,
I know.
Mike, over to you. I'm gonna do
All
that as
right.
much as possible. That's gonna be my new thing until either I get sick of it or you get sick of it. Okay.
Right.
All right.
Okay.
Back
All
to you.
right. Well, thanks, Bill. Thanks, Bill. And thank you all for listening to another episode of Sober Not Mature. 100 of these motherfuckers. How about that? I don't know. How about it? All right. Anyway, it is that. It's not that time yet. It's not time for that yet. You know what it's time for? It's time for you to go out and do something nice for somebody else this week. Be good to each other. Be kind to each other. Don't fuck up. Be a good boy or girl. Do the next right thing. And don't tell anybody that you did it. Now it's that time. It's time, kids. It's time for you to fuck off. And keep fucking off. Keep fucking off till you get to a gate with a sign on it saying you cannot fuck off past here. Climb over that gate, dream the impossible dream, and keep fucking off forever. 100 goddamn times.
Yeah, come back and keep fucking off 100 more times with us.
Right.
Yeah, come hell or high. Well, I can't even say that. Probably if less one of us, well, two things. One of us dies, or if one of us, we piss each other off, which it's more than likely one of us will die before one of us
we'll be dead.
before one of us pisses each other off, because we know how to work through those things anymore. Can't work through a death.
We do. We have the tools. We could do
Right,
that too.
right. But I'm just saying that, I mean,
Right.
it's not like we can fix a death. It's just
In our hands will finally be idle.
right. All right. Well, let's leave that 100th episode on a happy note with death. Hi, fuck off, all you guys. Die.
Die.
All right. I love you, brother.
Love you too.
Bye.
Bye. And now it is time for you to fuck off. Then keep fucking off. Keep fucking off until you get to a gate with a sign on it saying you cannot fuck off past here. Climb over that gate, dream the impossible dream, and keep fucking off forever.